Great to see you, Jasper. See you next time on The Chase Australia.
Virgin Airlines collapses $5 billion in debt, now in search of a bailout. Tonight, voluntary administration, the impact on jobs, on bookings and on points. On the road back, the Prime Minister signals the worst may be over, easing restrictions on elective surgery. The part-time back-to-school plan, teachers hit out of the government's classroom confusion. Heading home, 50 Ruby Princess crew allowed off the ship. Grave danger reports North Korean leader Kim Jong-un could be brain dead following heart surgery. World oil prices hit negative territory. How low could petrol now go? And a surprise delivery, baby Cooper makes a very unexpected arrival.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. Virgin Australia will not receive a federal government bailout, but it is promising a comeback as a stronger airline after going into voluntary administration. Already more than 10 potential investors have come forward to help restructure the business. Staff are being told they're not being made redundant and frequent flyers won't lose their points.
Virgin staff kept apart by social distancing but joined by a common disaster.
Felt a bit betrayed, actually.
If I'm going to have enough money to pay my rent, buy my groceries.
After Virgin's bosses called in administrators.
And is the worst aviation crisis we've ever seen in our history.
An airline already unwell with $5 billion in debt left in intensive care by coronavirus.
We always knew that there was work to do on the balance sheet. We'll come back leaner, stronger and fitter.
Leaner, but denying plans for redundancies. Scott Poole is like many at Virgin, left unemployed by the 2001 Ansett collapse.
Yeah, it cuts. It's tough. I don't want to go through it again. It's my life.
Bringing back bad memories for union leaders at the time.
I saw people that lost their lives, committed suicide. I saw people that turned around and never got a job back in any industry.
Virgin's administrators are talking up the airline's prospects of finding investors.
And I'll say in excess of 10 parties who are known to us who have got a keen interest in being part of the restructure of Virgin.
For now, the federal government isn't one of them.
But the government was not going to bail out 5 large foreign shareholders with deep pockets.
Unions and the federal opposition say these workers are in this plight not because of a market decision, but a government one. And it's government that needs to find them a way out.
What I want is a Prime Minister who fights for every job of every Australian.
Experts say Virgin's mostly foreign ownership could be a sticking point, but...
We're talking Virgin Australia now. In 7 months' time, we could be talking Qantas.
Virgin's founder says governments in other countries have supported their airlines.
Sadly, that has not happened in Australia.
Sir Richard Branson, worth $7 billion, wants the British government to rescue Virgin Atlantic, even offering his Caribbean island as collateral. In the past year, Virgin Australia stock has slipped 55%, 18 cents to 8. But its 10% shareholder is not losing hope.
This is not the end for Virgin Australia, but I believe and hope a new beginning.
For the time being, Virgin Velocity points are on hold, but not redeemable for at least 4 weeks.
And Chris Maher is at Sydney Airport for us tonight. Chris, when do the administrators hope to secure Virgin's future?
Mark, the administrators from Deloitte say the restructure should take 2 to 3 months. They say there'll be no redundancies, top executives will keep their jobs and incomes will continue to be paid. But those staff stood down and on JobKeeper subsidies will remain on that arrangement. There'll only be limited flights, rescheduled ones will be honoured, but very much an airline, Mark, in a holding pattern.
Chris Maher at a very quiet mascot. Thank you. Prime Minister Morrison says Australia has reached a turning point in the fight against coronavirus, declaring we're already on the road back to recovery. One major step will be easing restrictions on elective surgery from next week.
For a nation in isolation, wondering when we'll reach a turning point, some hope.
I think we already have reached a turning point.
And with new cases low and remaining low, now on a course towards easing restrictions.
Thanks to Australians, we are on the road back.
The first cautious step, a return of elective surgery resuming from next week, allowing all Category 2 procedures such as IVF, hip and knee replacements, cataracts and all surgeries on children.
Some people think elective surgery sounds like it's something that's not important. It is incredibly important.
It is to Victoria Konstantopoulos. Her daughter Gia can now go back on the waiting list for skull surgery. That will allow her brain more room to grow.
I'm completely ecstatic. I mean, it gives Gia the chance to get this over with.
The Prime Minister also wanting restrictions at aged care homes eased to allow families greater access, and rejecting privacy concerns over the government's COVID tracker app, likely to be available before the weekend.
The Commonwealth will have no access to that data.
Figures today reveal 780,000 Australians lost their jobs in just the first 2 weeks of this lockdown. The Reserve Bank Governor describing the pulverising blow to our economy as a once-in-a-century contraction.
The next few months are going to be very difficult ones for the Australian economy.
Predicting the economy to shrink by 6%, unemployment to hit 10% and negative inflation for the first time since the 1960s.
As Australians digest this economic news, I would ask that we keep in mind that this period will pass.
But that road out will be bumpy. Mark Riley, 7 News.
The Premier has unveiled plans to get students back to school, but warns classes won't be normal again until at least term 3 in late July. And while staggered face-to-face teaching starts on May the 11th, how that will happen has left many confused.
We know plenty about what school won't look like. No packed classrooms, no school assemblies, no sport or mingling at drop-off. But what it will look like is very much up in the air.
Will it be the same as kids going to school under normal circumstances? No, it won't.
Back to school day is May 11, 3 weeks into term 2. Initially 1 day a week, then 2 and building.
And we hope by the end of term 2 we'll be in a position to have students going back to school in a full-time capacity by term 3.
That's July 20. Ambitious, say some. Impossible, say others.
The feedback I've got from principals this morning and from parents is, what the hell is going on?
The government has handballed the decision on how it will operate to the schools themselves. They'll decide which students come on what day, with suggestions it be done alphabetically or by the house system to keep siblings together.
We want them to make sure that they are having about a quarter of students on campus each day, but how they break that group up will be a matter for them.
The government insists it is safe, but will help with more hand sanitisers and soap, extra cleaning equipment of classrooms and play equipment, even forehead thermometers, with teachers given priority access to testing centres. From teachers,
we believe it represents and presents serious operational and logistical concerns.
They wanted the return of 1 year group at a time, but the current teaching workforce, parents, cautiously optimistic.
As a working parent, you know, I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't a part of me that's looking forward to it.
We've got to wait and see how it goes, but I'm looking forward to the kids getting back into the classroom.
Schools have 3 weeks to determine how to make it work.
And let's go to Chris Reason now. Chris, the Prime Minister has weighed in on class safety, with many parents still concerned.
Yeah, good evening, Mark. Talkback and social media lit up on that announcement this morning with grave fears about the health implications and fears of a second wave of infections. But the Prime Minister, state government, the health officials are all saying that all the evidence shows that children are low-risk spreaders of coronavirus. That helped by the fact that there'll only be 25% of kids in the classrooms, enabling them to spread out, and also they'll have staggered start and finish times, recess and lunch. But as one critic pointed out, if it's all so safe, then why have teachers been given priority access at those testing clinics? Mark?
OK, Chris Reason, thank you. There's a new coronavirus case at a DY retirement village, and tonight we can confirm a third death at Newmarch House in Western Sydney. The son of an infected resident there is demanding authorities take over, claiming Anglicare staff are now so strained the standard of care has become criminally negligent.
Pat Shea in happier times. The Newmarch House resident hasn't seen her family in over a month.
Hi Mum, how you going?
Son Anthony hearing over the phone of her suffering inside. This morning she fell in the shower.
I've got skin off my knee, but they didn't bandage that up. They left that one.
The 76-year-old tested positive for coronavirus last Wednesday. The next day, waited 2 hours for nurses to respond to calls for help.
It's horrendous. Nowhere near enough staff.
The type 1 diabetic's blood sugar level hasn't been checked in a week. Another resident told she can't shower because no nurses can assist her.
If a society is measured by how we look after our elderly, we're failing.
Anglicare's CEO admitting in a letter to residents and relatives, our biggest challenge remains the supply of skilled registered nurses and carers. The organisation telling 7 News 55 staff are self-isolating after 14 were infected. 28 residents have tested positive.
At the moment, it's cover up and spin, and people are going to die.
3 have died already, the third confirmed a short time ago. Anthony is more worried a lack of care rather than the virus could kill his mum. He wants Anglicare to hand over full control of the facility to New South Wales Health immediately.
You have to address the spread, that is so important, but you must take care of the welfare of these older residents.
We obviously continue to monitor the situation in the aged care facility closely.
Also being monitored are COVID-19 recovery rates. The state recording only 6 new cases overnight, almost 3,000 people in total. New figures reveal more than half are now better, half of those symptom-free after 16 days.
Keep doing what you're doing, it's working.
Alex Hart, 7 News.
It was Goodbye Ruby Tuesday for 49 relieved crew members of the most infamous cruise ship to ever sail Australian waters. Authorities remain under immense pressure to ensure the Ruby Princess crew disembark with much greater care than her passengers last month.
It's not how people usually feel about getting off a cruise. But it is when the ship is the Ruby Princess. For dozens of crew locked in their cabins since March, the news they'd been hoping for finally arrived last night.
Tonight is a special night, a happy night. Tonight is our last night together as one big united family.
Today, there was no hiding their joy.
Oh my God, I never thought the day would come.
With the Army lending a hand, the Ruby Slippers moved from boat to bus. Under police escort, these buses will now take those 49 people to a hotel in the city. From there, they'll need to wait for flights back to their respective countries. One of the crew members released today is COVID positive. They'll move into isolation on land.
We're not just letting 1,000 people off into the state of New South Wales without a plan.
More than 1,000 remain on the ship, many at the mercy of diplomatic negotiations.
People need to have visas, and if you're found without a visa, then you go to Villawood.
Princess has written to passengers offering full refunds, counselling, and this excuse for leaving hundreds in the dark since testing positive. Australian privacy laws prevent authorities from sharing guests' health information with us. Police have confirmed more crew will disembark the virus ship tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you for your help. Thank you to everybody.
In Port Kembla, Peter Fegan, 7 News.
The price of US oil contracts has plunged below $0 for the first time in history. That means producers are now paying to have oil taken off their hands as the global economic crisis deepens. But there's a silver lining for those Aussie drivers still on the road.
In a month already brimming with astonishing news.
Oil prices have turned negative. The most extraordinary development that took place today.
That's the price for a May contract of the US crude oil benchmark, below zero for the first time ever.
It's driven by weakness in the oil market, so it's not surprising we've seen such a sudden collapse.
Buyers need to store their barrels of oil, but an oversupply has already filled up storage facilities, pipelines, even tankers. To avoid paying sky-high storage costs, they're desperately offloading future supply contracts, turning the oil price negative. The heart of the problem is the huge demand plunge due to corona lockdowns around the world. Tough times for producers, but good news at home.
It clearly takes some time, but does eventually flow through to the consumer.
Here, petrol prices are at 4-year lows. Among the capitals, only Adelaide, Canberra and Hobart still have average unleaded prices above $1. Perth drivers are paying the least, under 90 cents a litre. And despite petrol retailers now taking a bigger cut, we're spending much less at the pump.
It looks like this
these lower prices here in Australia will continue.
Road traffic has dropped by around 40%, but those still on the move are overwhelmingly essential workers keeping our economy running in fields like healthcare or delivery services.
They are the ones who deserve cheaper petrol more than anyone.
Gemma Acton, 7 News.
Police have made more arrests over vile spitting attacks, this time targeting hospital staff and a bus driver. A man and a woman were charged in separate incidents, and their victims have more than just coronavirus to worry about.
Spitting on anyone during a pandemic is bad enough, but Rebecca Boney is also HIV positive. This was her on a bus at Potts Point on Sunday. The driver had asked her to stop smoking, so she spat right in his face and took off.
There's a lot of fear. There is a lot of fear around. Drivers we're just trying to do our jobs.
The 32-year-old was already on court orders to be of good behaviour when she abused and assaulted the driver. He now needs to wait months for test results. Boney today pleaded guilty and was issued with another 2-year community corrections order, released because of her troubled background.
I'm just so glad that we have, a serious consequence, fine and criminal offence for a disgusting act.
It wasn't the only one at RPA Hospital. Mark Turgeman, also HIV positive, is accused of deliberately spitting blood on a nurse and biting a security guard. Today, he was refused bail. The sad reality is this type of behaviour is what police and frontline medical staff have to deal with every day. New laws have been passed to protect both them and retail workers, and authorities say they want to hear about any attacks like this.
And I want nurses to report it. I want, poor people who are serving behind counters and stacking shelves. Please report the crimes, and I promise they'll be investigated, and I promise we'll take strong action.
Andrew Denny, 7 News.
Trials of drugs to treat COVID-19 will be held in more than 70 Australian hospitals after lab tests showed promising results. An anti-malarial drug and a treatment for HIV will be given to some patients while the world waits for a breakthrough vaccine.
Hydroxychloroquine is a known treatment for malaria, but when it comes to COVID-19, there are questions.
Firstly, does the drug work? And secondly, what is its safety profile?
More than 2,000 Australians and New Zealanders will be given the drug alongside lopinavir, an HIV medication, in randomised testing. Signs in overseas laboratories are encouraging.
They're not super potent drugs, but they definitely have activity.
Every patient I've prescribed it to has been very, very ill, and within 8 to 12 hours, they were basically symptom-free.
The drug was hailed as a potential miracle COVID cure by Donald Trump after experiments in France.
I feel good about it.
But the French tests were small and flawed.
The test was performed on a very few number of people. The patient knew they were giving this medicine.
Brazil and drug giant Novartis are, among others, pursuing hydroxychloroquine as a potential COVID killer. Results will be shared across the globe, with monitoring also of potential side effects that the virus might induce, and that includes heart toxicity.
The medication will also be given to frontline health workers who do not have COVID-19 to see if it can work as prevention, even better than cure. Robert Ovadia, 7 News.
There's speculation tonight that North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un could be close to death. A US official says the 36-year-old is gravely ill following surgery.
Kim Jong-un 10 days ago, the dictator running his ruling party's committee meeting on coronavirus, broadcast on state TV. He had heart surgery the next day. 3 days later, April 15, North Korea's most important holiday, celebrating his late grandfather, and Kim Jong-un was a no-show. Now, American media is reporting Kim Jong-un is in grave danger. One report even saying he's brain dead. There's no official confirmation. The secretive country tightly controls any information about its leader. His father, Kim Jong-il, missed a parade in 2008. It turned out he'd suffered a stroke. South Korea says it has no proof these latest claims about Kim Jong-un are accurate. The world waits to learn the truth about the health of one of the most dangerous leaders on the planet. Mike Amor, 7 News.
Time now for a check on our weather. Brownie, another superb day.
Oh yeah, it's hard to take, and it's far from over, Fergo. In fact, our weather camera network captured just
Just a few folk just stretching their legs earlier today, walking there along the beach under the mild sunshine. To the north, though, we're keeping an eye on this high-level cloud. In fact, it's quite an extensive deck that stretches from border to border, as we can see there. But the cloud is gradually breaking up and continues to contract north. Now, the dry spell continues for most of our state until the weekend. Have a look at this. Some patchy rain starts to sweep in from the west during Sunday. Some of it should reach us by Monday. But at the moment, sky clear, and we've got low 20s around most of Sydney. A little bit cooler high in the Blue Mountains, 14 degrees in Katoomba. And of course, local forecasts in detail. Top of the hour, Fergo.
OK, David, thank you. A man has faced court over a creepy attack on a woman in Stanmore. Next, what the alleged peeping Tom is accused of doing. Also, the new security video that could help solve a violent kidnapping in our southwest. Harry's explosive text messages with Meghan's father as she goes back to work. Later, how to avoid bill shock this winter, ways to put off paying to survive the crisis. And in sport, live to League Central as a leading contender to replace Todd Greenberg says no thanks.
Are you ready for takeoff?
Yes, baby.
When you're smiling.
Now that's more like it.
When you're smiling.
That is how you do it.
The whole world smiles with you.
How amazing was that?
You're smiling. The whole world smiles.
Get ready. We're celebrating the extraordinary. Brand new Britain's Got Talent. Wednesday, 7:30 on 7.
Wish you had internet that didn't let you down? That doesn't leave you hanging and won't have you missing any of the action? Get Vodafone NBN with 4G backup. Plans start from just $65 a month. And with free express delivery, connect instantly once you receive it. Buy online today at vodafone.com.au. Ready?
With AGL, get up to $100 in credits. That's $75 for electricity and $25 for gas. Just for signing up your home energy with AGL online. Only available at agl.com.au.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's on the play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
Can care be better at home?
Someone from Medibank mentioned that there's a chance I can do rehab at home.
I said, oh, how much extra is that going to cost?
And they said, no, you've got it in your hospital cover. It just was fantastic for me.
We know you've always worked hard for your money. In these uncertain economic times, who do you trust to protect your wealth? Invest with La Trobe Financial, Australia's multi-award-winning wealth manager and leading credit specialist. Trusted by Australians for more than 60 years.
Garnier Olia, tried and tested by Australian women.
I've been colouring my hair for over 14 years now. It does take a toll on your hair.
Then everything changed with Olia, the first permanent home hair colour powered by oil, not ammonia. When I discovered Olia, my whole perspective on colouring hair changed.
My hair colour is now so bright and natural.
It's oil-based, all signs of damage gone, and zero greys. Experience the difference with Olia by Garnier, naturally.
It is the heart of the home. It's the heart of our family. We need it to last a long time.
We definitely make the whole process affordable and easy.
So to create the amazing look without the big prices, beautiful kitchens that look amazing.
Tasty, affordable and delicious. What's for dinner in the next break with Coles?
Welcome back. Detectives have released new security video of 4 men believed to be involved in a very violent kidnapping in southwest Sydney. A 28-year-old man was taken captive outside a home in Yagoona last October. Shot twice and repeatedly beaten, he was left for dead with critical injuries. It's believed a white Toyota van was used by the kidnappers. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. A young Stanmore woman has relived her ordeal involving an accused sex pest, waking to find him lurking outside her bedroom window, watching her as she slept. A 51-year-old man was arrested and faced court today, but that has done little to ease her trauma.
Violated in her own bedroom.
Yeah, it's not nice. It's pretty gross.
The 25-year-old law student was woken by a stranger who was watching her sleep. She'd nodded off while reading a book and accidentally left the curtains open.
It was like saying something like sleeping sweetly, and that's like that kind of male voice. I was like, what is that?
It's unclear how long the accused peeping Tom had been allegedly standing at her window. 3 weeks on, she's still too scared to show her face.
He was pushing his hands against that bar there, like holding onto the bars and looking in.
The woman ran to her flatmate and they saw the suspect take off, darting between other properties.
Didn't scream. I think I was in shock. I was just very confused that there was a person standing at my window looking in at me.
Last night, police arrested Patrick Strzezuki at his Petersham home. He's now been charged with people pry and enter enclosed land, not prescribed premises without lawful excuse. The 51-year-old appeared here at Central Local Court today via video link. He made a bid for bail, but the magistrate refused to release him. The case will be heard again next week. Natasha Squarey, 7 News.
US President Donald Trump has defended protesters demanding an end to corona lockdowns, arguing some governors have gone too far with their restrictions. In more than a dozen states, demonstrators have ignored social distancing rules and gathered together, calling for businesses to be allowed to reopen. But according to a new poll, 60% of Americans oppose the protests. A large jellyfish has been spotted gliding through the canals of Venice. The video was captured last week by a marine biologist who says less boat traffic in the famous waterways has made the water more transparent. An unexpected positive side to this pandemic. Meghan Markle has spoken in LA about her first post-princess project, making her Disney debut in a new documentary. The Sussexes are starting their new life in Tinseltown, but the headlines that haunted them in the UK appear to have followed the couple.
After quitting as an actress, then as a royal, Meghan Markle's back in Hollywood and back on TV.
I hope that when people see this film, they realise how connected we all are.
A much anticipated interview filmed last year but released today to promote her voiceover role in Disney's documentary Elephant.
The cats are drawing around the family.
The gentle giant's a big interest of Meghan's since she and Prince Harry campaigned to save wild elephants during a trip to Africa last year.
I've been very lucky to be able to have hands-on experience with elephants.
In fact, it was her husband who, not so subtly, touted her for the job. While Meghan Markle is now part of the Disney family, turmoil remains in her real family. Court documents have revealed explosive text messages sent from Prince Harry to her father in the lead up to their royal wedding. 48 hours after Thomas Markle was exposed for staging paparazzi shots, Harry wrote, "Really need to speak to you. Going public will only make the situation worse. Speaking to the press will backfire. Trust me, Tom. Only we can help you, as we've been trying from day one." The Duchess missed a call from her dad at 5 a.m. on her wedding day and hasn't heard from him since. She's now suing a British tabloid for printing a letter she sent to address the rift. The trial will begin Friday. In Hollywood, Amelia Brace, 7 News.
Tony Abbott has hit back over sensational claims in Malcolm Turnbull's new book. Next, the former PM defends his leadership and his relationship with his then Chief of Staff. Also, as restrictions begin to ease across Europe, the UK faces a new COVID emergency. Eerie scenes of a city in lockdown deserted Sydney streets in this time of corona. And a new song to honour our diggers ahead of Anzac Day.
We'll remember them on this Anzac Day.
Hi everyone, it's Tassia and Gracia here. So for today, What's for Dinner recipe, Tassia and I are going to be creating one of our favorite dishes, Hainanese chicken rice.
It is a poached chicken dish served with seasoned rice and 2 of our favorite sauces. So Gracia, let's get cooking.
The first thing we're going to do is going to poach the whole chicken.
These are the vegetables that we're going to put in to make our liquid stock. So I've got some carrots, I'm going to pop that in. I got some brown onion, half of a brown onion. And I got some celery in the fridge, so I'm going to pop that in as well. And don't forget, you need to put some ginger then we're going to put spring onion.
Now that our stock pot is boiling,
oh my God, Gracia, it smells so good.
We're gonna add our 1 whole chicken and we're gonna drop it in and be sure to cover it all with the water. And we're gonna pop the lid back on and turn the heat down to low.
While our chicken is cooking, we're gonna be making our 2 favorite sauces.
So for the chili sauce, Tasia, we're gonna add some ginger. It's okay that the skin is on. We're gonna also be adding some garlic.
Some bird eye chili. Wow.
And big red chili as well. We're gonna blitz it up to form a rough paste. So to make the second sauce, we've got 1/2 cup of spring onion here, and we're just gonna grate about 2 tablespoons of ginger. So I've gone ahead and heat up about 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. And now to finish, all we have to do.
Oh my God, that looks so good.
And we're gonna season with a bit of chicken salt, a pinch of table salt, and we're just gonna mix.
The chicken has been cooked for 45 minutes. We got some 3 tablespoons of soy sauce and 2 teaspoons of sesame oil, and gently pour it into the poached chicken. To make the seasoned rice, we got 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 20 grams of chopped garlic, 10 grams of ginger, and 30 grams of shallots, 2 cups of jasmine rice, and about 3 cups of the liquid chicken stock we made earlier. We're gonna cook until all the water is absorbed, and we're gonna turn the heat low and cook it for another 8 minutes. And it's ready.
So there you have it, our What's for Dinner Hainanese chicken rice, the perfect isolation cooking.
So for more recipe like this, head to coast.com.au.
Happy cooking!
Welcome to my humble abode.
These mates from Western Sydney have almost moved out of home.
You bought a place a few streets from Mum?
Yeah.
So he won't need a laundry.
George, this isn't your house. Why are you doing this?
I couldn't imagine anyone else that deserves it.
Aww. I love people with a good heart.
He's got a house, but there's one thing he's missing.
Very large for one person. Gonna have to get some friends. Or get married.
But when they transform his home, will all his dreams come true?
It's amazing. You like it, Mum?
House Rules High Stakes, tonight 7:30 on 7.
In breaking news, a doctor at St George Hospital has tested positive to coronavirus and has been sent home to recover. Several other people who had close contact, including health workers and patients, have been identified and isolated. Health authorities say there is no risk to other patients or staff. Britain's horrific death rate appears to be falling, but there are fears the front line in the battle against coronavirus is faltering. Dozens of nurses and doctors have now died from COVID-19 as the rest of Europe nervously relaxes some restrictions.
Life has returned to German streets, but it is far from normal. Masks are compulsory in some states. Students taking exams are kept well apart, and there remains anxiety as to whether they really are doing the right thing. We are far from being out of the woods, the Chancellor said. In Rome, bookshops have reopened, customers and staff in masks and gloves. But in the UK, they've run out of crucial protective equipment for nurses and doctors in hospitals. Now it's claimed 100 British health staff have died after contracting COVID-19 at work, including Josiane Eckerle.
They sent her to war with a shortage of ammo, and that's what happened.
Britain is now sourcing PPE from places like Turkey and Myanmar. The royal family is continuing to work even during the lockdown and even during retirement. Prince Philip, just weeks away from his 99th birthday, issuing a statement thanking everyone from scientists to rubbish collectors. The Duke said he wanted to recognise the work done by medicos and researchers to help fight the pandemic, but also on behalf of those of us who remain safe and at home, he said, I also wanted to thank all key workers who ensure the infrastructure of our life continues, including delivery drivers and posties. Some recognition for those making significant sacrifices. In London, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
Former PM Tony Abbott has slammed arch-rival Malcolm Turnbull's new book, which attacks Mr Abbott and his truly bizarre relationship with his former Chief of Staff. Mr Turnbull's account slams senior figures in the current government, but is especially critical of the man he toppled for the top job.
Two constants in Tony Abbott's life, morning bike rides and war with Malcolm Turnbull.
I am aware of some pretty odious comments that one of my successors made last night.
The odour from this, his rival's account of the 2-year-long Abbott government.
Erratic and flaky.
Worse, says Malcolm Turnbull, dangerous on national security and led not by the then PM but his Chief of Staff Peter Credlin. He worshipped and feared her. She treated him with disdain.
It was a truly bizarre relationship.
She was a fine thinker, a great organiser, and she was a trusted colleague.
In its 700 pages, the Turnbull account has room to take down others, not least Finance Minister Matthias Cormann, for stepping out here in August 2018 to declare he was backing Turnbull rival Peter Dutton for PM.
Malcolm has presented his version of history.
The Turnbull view, he would easily have survived the August turmoil if Cormann had not betrayed me in the shocking way he did.
It substantially differs from my very clear recollection of events.
Others likely feel the same way as they digest the history of Malcolm.
I'm just going to remain focused on the actual bigger picture, and that's dealing with the coronavirus.
Tim Lester, 7 News.
Eerie scenes of Sydney in lockdown have been captured in a new video called Sounds of a City. The 2-minute clip looks and listens at our CBD. You can see Dane Hudson's complete video at 7news.com.au. They say home is where the heart is, so when you're stuck overseas at a time like this, it can feel even further away. So one schoolgirl, the daughter of a veteran, is sharing her creative ideas online, helping to commemorate Anzac Day.
Getting crafty for one of our most important national occasions.
And while the glue's drying, I'm going to be writing Lest We Forget on the back.
For 10-year-old Cameron Cummins and her Queensland family, Anzac Day will be spent in Bali, where they have to stay indefinitely due to coronavirus. Her father Brady served twice in East Timor.
Army was a big part of his life and he lost a lot of friends. He's pretty sad about it. Because this year he was supposed to go to Sydney and have Anzac Day with his friends. You cannot live without making one batch of Anzac biscuits.
So she's cheering him up and helping educate other kids at home or, like her, overseas with her online tutorials.
We can't line the streets with the confetti you deserve.
This song, marking Anzac Day and what it represents, is by Sydney band Hype Duo and has been viewed hundreds of thousands of times.
We definitely encourage people to make this one special for the diggers and to do some simple gestures that will go a long way.
Like polishing war medals and marking a minute's silence at dawn.
And we thank you for the sacrifice you made.
Jessica Ridley, 7 News.
A new mum is in shock tonight after giving birth to a baby boy without knowing she was pregnant. Next, the surprise delivery that caught the young couple off guard. Also, why your packages are about to be delivered a lot faster. Power bills set to surge, how you can find a better deal to get through the crisis.
Stunning today, a lengthy sunny spell is unfolding. Details soon.
Who ordered brand new Mrs. Brown's Boys?
It was me.
Wednesday, the long-awaited special.
Do not speak to me.
She's annoyed with me. She says I'm too nosy.
She said that.
No, I read it in her diary.
Brand new Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Hello.
Wednesday, 9 o'clock on 7.
If you're in business in Australia, right now you're facing one of your toughest challenges. It's not business as usual, and it's hard to know where to turn. Business Australia can help you manage your responsibilities to your employees, look after their health and well-being, and assist with strategies to maintain and sustain your business. We've been helping Australian businesses through thick and thin for 194 years, and we're here for you now. For free advice and support, visit businessaustralia.com.
At Domino's, our first priority is the health and safety of our team members and customers. That's why we are now offering zero contact delivery. so you can get any large pizza from $15 delivered with total peace of mind.
This is a bank ad. So we'll show you how much you need us. And that we're with you every step of the way. Like one big happy family. Now it's time for the big, banky, musical climax. Haven't we had enough of all this BS? And by BS, I mean bank stuff. So, at Bank West, it's bank less from now on. Less jargon, less about us, less bank stuff.
With Light and Easy, you can still enjoy a huge variety of delicious, healthy meals in the comfort and safety of your home, thanks to their chefs and dietitians and their contactless delivery service. In fact, Light and Easy has recently been rated Australia's #1 healthy meal delivery service, scoring 5 stars for customer satisfaction, as well as taste, variety and freshness, all things you'll find on their autumn menu. Enjoy delicious, healthy meals with Light and Easy's contactless, award-winning delivery. Order today.
Employees of Budget Direct. Over 20 years, you have become the country's most award-winning insurer, providing top-notch cover for more than 3 million Australians.
It's a start. 22 million to go. Will you help people get a better deal on their car insurance?
Will you fight to save Australians on their home insurance? No, Karen. She loves saving people money.
Who are you?
Proudly saving Australians on insurance for 20 years. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
Checking the markets now, and the ASX 200 closed down 132 points. As we reported earlier, US crude oil prices fell into negative territory, which had a knock-on effect here. Virgin remains in a trading suspension while Qantas shares close steady, and our dollar is buying just over 63 US cents. Fuel prices are still falling across Sydney. The average is now 95.7 cents a litre, but we found unleaded for just 79.9 cents in North Ryde and 78.7 in Lanier. Regular mail will now be delivered every 2 days and take 5 days to arrive, with Australia Post given the green light to redeploy thousands of staff. Instead, they'll do package deliveries, which have risen 80% during this crisis, levels normally seen only around Christmas. The changes will continue until June next year. Former Premier Mike Baird has revealed he'll start a new job in September. Having left the NAB, he's now been appointed as the Chief Executive of hospital and aged care charity Hammond Care. He says he's thrilled about the role, making a difference to people in extremely challenging circumstances. Hammond Care provides palliative and dementia care services. A young couple has had a real shock, becoming unexpected parents during a shower. What was thought to be a tummy bug turned out to be a baby boy.
1 week ago, Amber Smith thought she had gastro. This week, the 18-year-old is a mum.
I felt this very big tense in my stomach, and then the next second there was water coming out everywhere.
She screamed and called out to 20-year-old Blairden.
It scared me. I've never heard Amber scream like that.
He saw her head, so then we started pushing.
10 minutes later, surprise, Cooper Allen Robert Woods was born in the shower.
My instant reaction was like, what the
complete shock. I had no idea.
The past 9 months felt relatively normal.
I just had a tiny increase in my stomach, so I thought I was just eating too much.
Turns out she was eating for 2. Cooper weighed just over 3 kilograms. Young love, learning a new kind of love.
I have an idea of what I'm doing, so I'm just going with what I think I know.
I thought my life is over, but then an hour or 2 later, staring into his eyes, everything was clear that it was meant to be.
No time for a baby shower, but a whole life ahead. Jessica Mummy, 7 News.
With so many families already forced to tighten their belts, a winter bill shock could be on the way, power costs surging as more people work from home. But we'll tell you how you can find a better deal to help you through the crisis. Don't miss that story soon on 7 News. But now Mel's here with Sport, and Mel, with Todd Greenberg gone, who's next in line to be the NRL boss?
Well, Fergo, that is the big question right now. One of the leading contenders has ruled themselves out. We are live at NRL HQ with the details next. Plus, how this Aussie athletics glamour couple are bringing out the best in each other in a bid for Tokyo success. And some tennis superstars get together online, highlighting perhaps the only thing Rafael Nadal isn't too good at.
We're all spending so much time in our homes, but this is the chance to really make your home everything you've always wanted it to be.
Oh!
All the inspiration you need is right here on House Rules.
The decorating is great.
Just beautiful.
While these Aussies are doing it for each other, you could be doing it for yourselves. Together, as a family, get inspired by House Rules. Tonight, 7:30 on 7.
The COVID-19 crisis brings unprecedented internet traffic over the NBN network. To help support Australia during this time, we currently offer internet providers up to 40% increased network capacity. Our technicians remain on the ground wherever they're needed. And we're sharing updated tips to help you get more from your home setup. To find out more, visit nbn.com.au/response.
Need a dry shampoo that refreshes and nourishes your hair? Try the new OGX dry shampoo range at Chemist Warehouse. They're infused with your favourite OGX ingredients like renewing argan oil, nourishing coconut milk, volumizing cherry blossom and refreshing green tea. Try OGX Refresh and Renew Argan Oil Dry Shampoo for $9.99 and discover the new OGX styling range at Chemist Warehouse. Live, look, feel fabulous every day at Chemist Warehouse.
At Domino's, our first priority is the health and safety of our team members and customers. That's why we are now offering zero contact delivery, so you can get any large pizza from $15 delivered with total peace of mind.
Bring on the dirtiness, muddiness, sauciness. And how did that get under theiriness? Because with a great range of cleaning solutions, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness.
Hi, Chris. As one of our Care Super members, let's go see your super at work. Hold on. I'll show you some of the opportunities and possibilities that are being explored for you. Your super should work as hard as you do, so we're making sure it does.
A lot has changed over the last few months, but globally, Allianz Group's commitment to serving its 100 million customers around the world hasn't. As part of this global network, Allianz Australia has been supporting our customers through uncertainty and change for over 100 years. So you can rely on us to be here for you now and in the future to ensure what matters most. Because our support doesn't stop here.
The Sports Report brought to you by Allianz.
Welcome back. One of the leading contenders to replace Todd Greenberg as NRL Chief Executive has ruled themselves out of contention for the coveted role. We go live now to Chief League reporter Michelle Bishop. Hello, Shell. Who's dropped out of the race?
Good evening, Mel. Rabbitohs boss Blake Solly has always been highly regarded and talked about as Todd Greenberg's possible successor, but I spoke to him this afternoon and he categorically ruled himself out of the top job. He is committed to South Sydney. Big names are being mentioned, being put forward include Broncos boss Paul White and Storm Chief Dave Donaghy, but it's Andrew Abdo in the box seat, the man who has taken the reins on an interim basis. Now, his first challenge, it's a big one, to appease angry clubs. Interstate teams and the Warriors have been furious at the lack of detail from Greenberg about that possible relocation and a host of other issues surrounding that May 28 restart date. So let's take a listen to Cowboys coach Paul Green.
There's a lot of questions that need to be answered before everyone can actually fully commit to it, but it's a massive commitment. But as I said, we're also as a club very keen to get the footy back on. So it's just finding that balance and making sure it's done safely.
Well, certainly a baptism of fire for Andrew Abdo. Mel.
Thanks very much, Michelle Bishop there at NRL HQ. Well, Cricket Australia faces the nightmare of a hit to its bottom line worth hundreds of millions of dollars if this summer's India series is impacted by COVID-19. The governing body has already lost an estimated $20 million.
On one level, cricket is fortunate in terms of the time of year when the coronavirus situation hit. On another level, cricket's unfortunate in that it's hit us at the lowest point of our 4-year cash cycle.
Cricket Australia is working on a strict biosecurity plan in an effort to ensure the lucrative series can go ahead. Negotiations for player pay cuts are ongoing. Well, the sports shutdown could have become very awkward for the glamour couple of Australian athletics. Genevieve Gregson has qualified for her third Olympics, but her husband Ryan didn't beat the lockdown. At home, they are pushing each other to beat their remarkable feats of Rio 2016.
As we've turned camera duties over to the stars at home, it's a good thing Genevieve and Ryan Gregson don't mind spending all their time together.
Don't. Basically what our day looks like at the moment isn't too different to a regular training day.
Sleep, eat.
What's going on here?
What else happens up here?
Run. A whole lot of running, but these two Aussie stars were born for that. Still, the monotony of life in lockdowns starting to test us all.
We just do what we can around the house now, and it's obviously nowhere near as good, but we're just making do with what we have.
4 years ago,
and here's Ryan Gregson. It's a good look, isn't it?
The first Aussie man to make the Olympic 1500 final in 40 years. Jen Lacar's made 2 finals in the 3,000 steeplechase and 5,000 metres. They should be 3 months off their third games each, in their prime, sharing this one as husband and wife.
If you're using it to your advantage, I think it can be a really nice time that you'll end up looking back upon in the future.
After his 30th on Sunday, Ryan's challenge, remapping plans to meet ruthless Tokyo qualifying times. Jen's booked her ticket. Now, the wait.
Whenever that first track race is, I'll be definitely ready and raring to go.
I'm probably looking forward to just not being so awkward when I run into someone that I know and just leaving my hands to my sides.
Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
Yes, they are a very, very fit couple. Well, he's a superstar on the tennis court, but it's fair to say technology is Rafael Nadal's Achilles heel. Rafa had all sorts of issues organising a video catch-up with Roger Federer and Andy Murray.
As you can see, I am a disaster in everything.
Finally!
Are we
in? Did we make it?
Finally! How are you doing, Candy?
I can only see. Oh, there we go. You're back.
Okay.
How's things?
This Instagram life is. I am going crazy with this, man.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky.
Federer says his recovery from knee surgery in February is going well, which is great news. Rafa Nadal, there's not too many things he doesn't get right, Fergo, so good to see him having a laugh and maybe struggling at one thing.
Makes me feel a lot better about my tech skills.
Yeah.
Thank you. Households across the country are about to be hit by another big shock from COVID-19. Power bills are beginning to arrive, showing dramatic increases with so many in isolation and working from home.
Finding the best power deals is what Simon Downs does for a living, but his latest bill reveals he is not isolated from COVID-19 related costs.
A lot of people are about to open their mailbox and get a nasty shock.
On average, working from home costs $2.78 a day. Lighting, long use of computers, printers, heating and cooling, and using household appliances more often all add up.
You have to talk to your retailer, certainly talk to them about coming up with a payment plan option.
Simon's work has unearthed a new provider, taking on the majors.
This is an energy retailer that is really saying to other retailers, if you try to undercut us on price, we will be cheaper every single time.
With a deal that is named after what is now taboo.
With the handshake plan, our intention is to lead price comparison sites.
By always being the lowest.
We've invested heavily in technology to really automate as much as we can.
There is a catch. If you're the type of person who likes face-to-face or over-the-phone customer service, you will miss out on this cheaper deal, which is available only online. Reamped Energy is available in Queensland, New South Wales and South Australia, but has plans to launch Australia-wide. Steve Titmus, 7 News.
Some more breaking news now, and Waverley Council is to vote shortly on a plan to reopen Bondi Beach as well as Bronte and Tamarama. The Mayor wants to allow swimming and surfing from next Tuesday, the 28th of April. The Council is expected to approve the move at a meeting this evening. Now David is back with the latest forecast. Brownie, how long will this sunny weather last?
All week, Fergo, can you believe it? Yes, and it's hard to take. I'll have your forecast straight after the break.
Good evening. Tonight on the latest from 7 News, more on those restrictions being rolled back this weekend, how they will affect you. Virgin Australia's CEO joins me to discuss the airline's future, and live to London for the Queen's birthday celebrations. That and every breaking development tonight on the latest from 7 News at 10:15.
A long time ago, before we were married, we made a huge mistake, and I've regretted it ever since.
9 months later, you come along?
Wait, hang on. How long in between you and Mum hooking up was I born?
Who's her dad?
Is Marco my father?
The only way to remove any doubt is to take a paternity test.
But you're my dad.
You'll always be my daughter, no matter what.
Home and Away, this week at 7 on 7.
Years of relentless improvement have led to pioneering Dyson technology, now re-engineered into a bigger format for faster deep cleaning. Only a Dyson works like a Dyson.
It's horrible.
Shut up and take my money.
Go fast or go slow. Go imagine your journey. Go up, go down, go around the long way, go directly, or go off on a tangent. And sometimes go where you least expect to. The X1. Go there.
Employees of Budget Direct. Over 20 years, you have become the country's most award-winning insurer, providing top-notch cover for more than 3 million Australians.
It's a start. 22 million to go. Will you help people get a better deal on their car insurance?
Will you fight to save Australians on their home insurance? No, Karen. She loves saving people money.
Who are you?
Proudly saving Australians on insurance for 20 years. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
Eggs. Crack 'em, whisk 'em, fry 'em, poach 'em, strain 'em, drain 'em, boil and oil 'em.
Eggs. They're nutritious and delicious, so your family can
kick it, catch it, swing and ride it, throw it, bowl it, jump and jive it.
Get cracking, Australia.
Every day, we work to make our networks stronger and more reliable. So even when we can't be close, we can still be connected together.
As coronavirus continues, it's vital that we support our older Australians. So keep in contact regularly with older neighbours, friends or family. Set them up to use technology, then plan a regular time to connect. Cook a meal and leave it at their front door, or offer to run errands. You could drop a note in their mailbox, or chat over the fence. Together, we can help stop the spread and stay healthy. To find out more, visit australia.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Tonight's 7 News headlines: a doctor at St George Hospital has tested positive to COVID-19. Other health workers and patients have been identified and isolated. Virgin Airlines enters voluntary administration. Staff aren't being made redundant and frequent flyers won't lose their points. The Prime Minister says we've turned the corner in the coronavirus fight, easing restrictions on elective surgery. And a young couple has welcomed a surprise addition, baby Cooper, arriving unexpectedly as his mum took a shower. Now with the latest on Sydney's weather, here's David.
Yes, thanks very much, Fergo. Well, it's been a beautiful day. We're expecting more mild sunshine tomorrow. Today's top, comfortable indeed, 25.3 degrees. That happened during lunch, and by the way, it's about 3 degrees on the high side of average. Across the suburbs, you'll notice there's only a small variation in maxima, not so in the morning. Check out Camden, down to a rather crisp 7 degrees. As we go to the satellite, we've got this massive belt of high pressure that continues to drive our weather. Yes, the pattern is stable, the winds are light, but to the south, you'll notice there's a weak cold front slipping across these southern states. That will move through overnight. For us, there's virtually no change in the overall pattern, although you'll notice a bit of a moderate southerly just pushing up the coast as the day wears on, but the high continues to dominate. But in the longer term, there is a little bit of rain expected across our state. It starts early next week. There's not a lot, as you can see. In fact, the best falls are right down near the Victorian border. Interstate, sunny tomorrow and around 31 degrees is expected in Brisbane. A cooler day for Melbourne, cloudy skies and around 19. Some showers are expected in Hobart and only 15 degrees. Back home, sunshine for your Wednesday. This is what we're expecting. Most centres should reach the mid-20s by early afternoon. Of course, we can look forward to mid-20s as well. Lots of sunshine expected throughout the entire day. Winds generally light and, of course, clear skies are also likely right over the Blue Mountains, a top of 20 degrees expected in Katoomba. Coastal waters, winds becoming light and variable. That should happen during the early part of the afternoon. Of course, we'll see slight seas sitting on top of a low swell. For the city, little change tomorrow. Yes, another beautiful day. Forecast top of around 26 degrees. We're dropping down to 15 overnight. Let's go to our 7-day outlook now. We're expecting similar conditions to unfold on Thursday. Should be a little bit warmer on Friday. Come the weekend, glorious conditions, fine, sunny, gentle breezes, weak coastal sea breezes, I should say. Temperatures generally around the mid-20s. Monday, becoming cloudy, just a little bit of light rain falling. So that's the latest weather, Fergo. Steady as she goes until early next week.
Beautiful all the way to Anzac Day.
Indeed.
Good on you, Brownie. That is 7 News for this Tuesday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening, and the latest is on tonight at 10:15. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. I hope you have a great night.